What's going on, traders? Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is July 21st, 2021. Please go ahead and click the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to talk about the price action in the indices, really explosive rally. We will go under the hood and check out our sectors and style factors. We do have some interesting rotation going on under the hood. We will talk about some of my trades for the day, and we'll wrap up with options order flow. Before we jump into all that, quick risk disclaimer: nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan, your own risk parameters. And last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account to any one of my trades. Alrighty, so let's jump into the price action. Let's check it out. Bam! S&P 500, these are our ES futures. Oh my gosh, look at this 2-day snapback rally. And we're following the same exact playbook that we followed almost to a T last time this happened, where we pulled back to the 50-day. Last time we had huge red candle extending us down to the 50. Bam, bullish engulfing candle, and then just a really nice follow through. This one actually looks even slightly better, but huge red candle, boom, bullish engulfing candle. Now this was like, the most definitive reclaim of the 20-day that I've ever seen here. So this is, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We essentially had, a big volatility spike, and then it's almost like a coiled spring where I guess everybody washed out that needed to, and boom, everyone, it's like musical chairs, just everyone trying to jump back into place. So as of right now, it really looks like we reclaimed the 20-day, and it looks like the bullish trend is intact. I mean, we're actually very close once more to the prior all-time highs. I mean, it's kind of like we keep doing this, we have these pullbacks, and then we just keep ripping. So there's not much else to say, really. And this right here is our weekly value area for the S&P 500, and you can see we reclaimed the weekly value area. You can see a nice high volume at the end of the day as well. Let's jump over to our NASDAQ. This is where there was some rotation on the tape. So NASDAQ was up 0.77%, and I can't even really say this is a rotation out of the NASDAQ. Because if you're along the NASDAQ, this is nothing to complain about either. We closed right on the highs. We, definitively reclaimed this 20-day simple moving average. Here we are pretty much trading at all-time highs. So I can't even act like, oh my gosh, like people are moving their money out of the NASDAQ. Like, definitely not. I guess really what's happening here is if we go to the Russell, Russell 2000, these are two very powerful days, and you can see we're still trading below the key moving averages right here. We're below the 50 and the 20-day, and we're also below this monthly value area. So, I mean, there is money that's flooding right back into the small caps, but keep in mind, it's flooding in off of some pretty oversold conditions that we had. But even the small caps, they're having the most powerful rally. Small caps have rallied about like over 6% a couple days. Pretty astounding. And lastly, Dow Jones up 0.95%, and we're closing in on this monthly value area high. So really all of the indices look pretty great. And today, we had the Dow Jones really shining and the Russell 2000 really shining. Let's flip open our market breadth. Market breadth was very strong. We've talked about this a couple times, where when the market breadth is very strong, that essentially means your odds of winning trades to the long side are higher. Because if you pick an individual stock and you have, let's say, 74% advancers, you essentially have a 74% chance of your stock being one of those that was up today. So a really nice breadth, really conducive environment on this balance. And I had talked about how, hey, my win rate was starting to go down. This was maybe like a week and a half ago when I started reducing exposure, and now I'm seeing the exact opposite, where it's like you can throw on trades and they're working pretty much right away. And that's really just, you have the risk off, and then people are trying to add their risk back on. It happens. Heat map semis were very strong today. Netflix reported earnings yesterday and actually suffered a little bit, down 3.28%. We had the travel names pretty strong, energy strong as well. Banks, really, everything. There was a rotation out of these consumer defensives and out of healthcare a little bit. You can see some of these diagnostics companies and the medical devices companies were red. But other than that, broad strength across the board. Sectors, again, very strong across the board. Only sectors that were red were utilities, staples, medical devices, and real estate, which were the sectors that were all really ripping as, the entire rest of the market was going through its little corrective phase. Some real standouts. We had solar energy stocks up 4.2% today. And you will see Enphase. Enphase really took a spill, and now it's right back in contention of this prior swing high. Enphase looking good. For solar, looks okay. Sunrun also looking pretty decent. I think Enphase is my favorite out of this group. Yeah, solar stocks were very strong, and energy stocks were strong as well at 3.49%. Semis, really all of these like cyclical areas of the market that were really in trouble during the little corrective sequence, they all did very well today. Style factors, similar situation here. You can see momentum style factor was up 1.71%. High beta up 3.1%. Another ripper of a day with international momentum, also nice and green. And then, the weakest style factors were Minvol and defensives, which is very risk on when those are underperforming. Now, what's interesting about these snapback rallies is if you've been along the market or you've reallocated yourself or whatever, you'll notice like, oh my gosh, almost everything I'm in is up a couple percent today. And that's the way it is off the bottom. Off the bottom, you always get, that really violent bounce, like the market's pretty much supercharged. And we had, I would say, like a good 2 days so far where it's like, boom, like everything's really lighting up green. I would imagine that as the next couple of days start to unravel, some of the shine will come off. There's always those people that get too overzealous. You start buying everything on the highs and, they just go crazy. And, that's kind of how the market works. Like, you get oversold, then you really snap back, and then you just kind of go back to the normal trend. So I'd imagine tomorrow won't be as crazy of a day, but we'll see. Some trades that I took today, I added a few in the morning. I didn't want to I had a feeling today could also be very strong, so I wasn't about to start adding things at the end of the day. I did most of my trading, or really all of my trading, I did within the first hour of the session. So I took Expedia long via call spread. I took Goldman Sachs long via some September calls. And then I also took BABA for a long trade. Really what I wanted to do is I noticed some of these reflationary areas of the market were showing some strength. So I wanted to get a foothold in those areas of the market. So Expedia, oh nice. Expedia closed, really nice closing range. At one point it had pulled back. Yeah, the travel names are looking good. Of course, everyone freaked out over COVID Delta variant. I've mentioned this a bunch of times, but it is so important. Like right now, you almost don't really know what the market theme is. You're like, okay, so I hear about this COVID variant, but stocks are going up, whatever. Okay, I see treasuries are starting to come off. You're kind of putting the market mosaic together. Once the market mosaic just becomes crystal clear to everyone that is involved, and everyone can tell you what the market theme is. It could be CNBC talking heads. It could be, somebody that just flipped open the Wall Street Journal, and it is just clear as day which trade they should be involved in is. That's typically when the move is right about to end. So it had just become crystal clear, deflation, growth scare, coronavirus, it had just penetrated the media, And that ended up being, a really nice buying opportunity for, travel names. So Expedia, I took this one for a long. Goldman Sachs, I think if we do get some more steepening of the yield curve, these financials can have a nice little run. So I got long some Goldman. And then Baba, this is more like a bottom fishing turnaround play. Baba is starting to form these green candles. And I think we could get a push back to, or really that's my target for my trade, back to this prior swing high. And I'm looking at the weekly chart for Baba. Weekly setup I think looks pretty good here. We're trading at the lower Bollinger Band on this weekly chart. So I really like my odds here. We'll see what happens. Yeah, put those trades on. Didn't do anything else. And I wasn't really going crazy into the end of the day or anything like that. Just try to keep it nice and tight, keep it controlled. And another thing I'm working on, this is for Pristine Capital members, but so I'm trying to do these almost whenever I put a trade on, just to be more organized and more structured with my trading. Putting on essentially these little trade plans. The other thing that I would like to do is I actually found out that when I set alerts, you can use a webhook to have the alert go into Discord. So I'm working on getting that set up as well, where maybe for the weekend watch list, when I put those alerts together, they will go off in the trading room chat. So that's another thing. I think it should be pretty straightforward. I did a test one with SE, and that's a good one to bring up because this name is really, had a fantastic day today. SE has been trying to break out to new all-time highs, had a couple of attempts. So I guess we'll call this attempt number 1 back here. But recently we had this attempt, then we had another attempt, and now this is the third attempt. And check out this weekly chart. Weekly chart looks like it could, go the distance here. Like it could really make it to 300 and beyond. So I'll be watching this name tomorrow. But I tested it trying to add the alert onto SE, and I didn't see it appear. So I'll be playing around with this tonight. Real quick, let's pull up some options order flow. This is via VigTech. This is our Tradescape. And let's do our option race. Dun, dun, dun. I just love this thing. This thing is so cool. And this is the options flows as they progress throughout the day. So you can see Tesla's in the lead pretty much throughout the day. Isn't it so weird that pretty much every single day Tesla's the flow leader? I guess because it's just such a popular trading stock. But anyway. Okay, so some flow leaders. Amazon, Tesla, Netflix, of course, they reported earnings. CMG, let's pull that one up. This is a potential power earnings gap setup. And let me just go to FinViz. Yeah, this is a nice power earnings gap setup into tomorrow. So yeah, we're seeing some options activity in CMG. We're seeing some in Amazon. I see AMC activity, mostly puts in AMC. Looks like some players are buying puts on high yield credit, HYG. Trying to get fancy over here. Yeah, I don't know why they would buy puts right now, but maybe they know something. Maybe they have some insider info. CNQ, USO. Royal Caribbean, there was some flow coming down. Yeah, 7.76 million. These cruisers absolutely crushed it off the lows. Check these out. I think yesterday this one was up 9%. Now today it's up another 5%. These things, they've been an awful place to be for the past, 2 months. Yeah, very powerful bounce off the lows. Dell. Okay, Dell looks kind of interesting. This is another one that's really oversold coming off the lows. So there's a bunch of different setups in the market right now, depending on which areas of the market you're looking at. There's, some stocks that are very oversold that are starting to come off. There's some software stocks that are trying to push to new highs. So there's a little something for everyone. Today we also had the Bitcoin, the B word conference. That was pretty interesting, pretty funny. And, you know, it ends up being a bit of a sell the news. And I had a feeling when we went into the event, you know, Ethereum and Bitcoin just kept literally like ripping into it. So I was like, okay, they're marking it up for whoever, you know, buys these things during or after the conference. Yeah, it's exactly what they did, where we're up about 10% earlier in the day. Now we're up 7.85%. Still not too shabby. And Bitcoin also up 6.23%. So we'll see what happens and if these can actually gain some momentum. As of right now, you know, this all fits neatly within the context of this downtrend. So we'll see what happens with those cryptos as well. That about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had an awesome trading session, and I will see you all tomorrow.